Morning, everyone. Uh, my name is Davin Bilan Gustinando from NMARC 4 SBM ITB Jakarta. Will present a financial performance analysis of PT ABM Investama or ABMM, an integrated energy company that plays a significant role in mining and contracting service industry in Indonesia. Okay. ABM Investama is interesting not only from a fundamental and operational perspective, but also from a capital market perspective. ABMM shares are among the stock widely held by legendary Indonesian investor Loh Keng Hong or LKH, often referred to as the Indonesian Warren Buffett. His interest in ABMM is well found. LKH is known for being highly selective and only investing in companies deemed to have strong fundamental and attractive valuation. According to KSA Security Ownership Report, LKH held approximately 150 million ABMM shares, equivalent to 5.58% ownership as October 2025, after purchasing an additional 2.19 million shares. This ownership continued to grow, with LKH purchasing another 100,000 shares in January 2026, bringing its total ownership to 154 million shares. Okay. Through today's presentation, we will examine together whether this confidence is reflected in ABMM financial condition and business prospect by examining trends in revenue, profitability, valuation, and the company's strategic position amidst the dynamic of the global coal industry. Okay, first, in terms of financial performance, ABM recorded revenue of 1,038 billion US dollar, with EBITDA reaching 274 million US dollar and net profit of approximately 70 million US dollar. The company total assets were around 2,055 billion US dollar, while total liabilities or total debt reached 1,174 billion US dollar. This figure indicated that ABM still has a strong asset structure, but its debt level is significant, requiring careful capital management. In the ratio section, ABM profitability margin have shown a downward trend in recent years. Net profit margin, ROA, and ROE are all expected to decline to 2025, reflecting pressure on profit stemming from weakening coal price and global commodity market condition. Meanwhile, liquidity ratio, such as the current ratio, remain stable, albeit trending downward, while the debt to equity ratio indicated the company remaining within manageable leverage limits. Efficiency ratio, such as asset turnover, also show weakness in line with the decline in revenue activity. Okay. Furthermore, in the firm valuation results section, ABM valuation showed that the company has a market cap to 1,053 million US dollar with an enterprise value of approximately 1,070 million US dollar, resulting in an enterprise value per EBITDA ratio of 2.45 times. This value is below the coal industry average, which is generally in the range of 4 until 6 times, thus categorizing the company is as undervalued. This means that ABM current share price is likely still below its fair value, and this pressure is more due to commodity cycle rather than weakening company fundamentals. Finally, in the operational performance section, it is explained that the decline in its profit is primarily due to the coal price cycle rather than structural issue within the business. Therefore, the low valuation actually reflects the temporary market condition rather than a decline in the quality of ABM core business. Okay, for the company background, PT ABM Investama is an Indonesian integrated energy company building a strategic portfolio spanning energy resources, energy services, and energy infrastructure. The company was founded in 2006 and is part of PT Tiara Marga Trakindo or TMT. ABM operates through various subsidiaries engaged in coal mining, contracting service, logistics, and heavy equipment manufacturing, and then electrical solution. ABM manages the entire mining value chain through four main segments depending on source classification. The first, like mining contractor and coal mining. This is the largest segment contributing the majority of revenue. Its operates are run by PT Cipta Kerja Tama. That's I'm here and work at PT Cipta Kerja Tama as a mining contractor, and then PT Reswara Minergi Harta Tama is coal mining through TIA and MDB, and then services like energy industrial support services, electrical machine rental, integrated logistic and vessel rental, engineering and site services, and then remanufacturing. And the third, manufacturing, design and production, heavy mining equipment components, material handling equipment, and the last, other services like renewable energy, IPP, domestic sea transport, and then stevedoring seaport service. This provides a comprehensive overview of the state of the coal industry, both globally and domestically, and how this dynamic influence future market direction. From the global coal industry perspective, projection indicated that global coal production is expected to continue growing through 2027, albeit at a limited pace. This is in line with the slowing growth in the coal consumption. Nevertheless, demand in Asia, particularly from developing countries with growing energy needs, remains a major contributor to production growth. However, this growth is simultaneously dampened by declining consumption from developed countries that continue to reduce their dependence on coal as a part of their energy transition agenda. The ICI 4 or 4,200 GAR chart on the slide shows a significant downward trend in coal price, with the latest average price showing a decline around 15%. Despite the decline, the average coal price in 2025 is still recorded at around 30% higher than the 2015 until 2019 period, indicating that the current coal price remains a relative strong level historically. Meanwhile, according to the domestic coal update, Indonesia coal production saw a decline of approximately 8% compared to the same period the previous year. Export experienced a decline 6%, primarily due to increased domestic production in major importing countries such as China and India, reducing their import needs. This situation has had a direct impact on global demand for Indonesia coal. Furthermore, domestic sales also declined by 11%, reflecting weaker domestic coal absorption compared to the previous year. Overall, this is indicated that the coal industry is currently in a weakening pace in terms of both price and demand, although is still supported by Asian consumption. The combination of slowing global consumption, increased production is the key destination countries, and declining domestic absorption are the key factors shaping the Indonesian coal market landscape for the foreseeable future. Okay. For the financial result analysis, ABM Investama revenue chart shows a strong growth pattern through 2023 before declining in 24 and 25. From 2021 until 2023, revenue increased significantly in line with a high global coal price and demand, which also drove improved performance in ABM mining contractor and coal mining segments. This is consistent with financial data, which recorded the company revenue reaching approximately 1.7 billion US dollar in 2023 before beginning to decline. Entering 2024 until 2025, revenue experienced a sharp correction, falling to around 1.2 billion US dollar in 2024 and around 1.9 billion US dollar in 2025, reflecting market normalization following the commodity boom and weakening coal prices over the past 2 years. Overall, this chart reflects ABM high sensitivity to commodity price cycles, with revenue following the fluctuation in international coal market conditions. And then ABM Investama net income margin trend shows a pattern consistent with revenue dynamic, but with a more drastic decline in the last 2 years. Net profit margin increased from around 18% in 2001 to peak around 24% in 2022, a period when the company profitability received a significantly boost from high coal price and operational efficiency. However, the margin began to decline in 2023, although it remained a relatively strong level by in 2024, the margin declined sharply, reaches around 12%, and in 2025, the figure further declined around 6%. This decline aligned with the decline in the net income for 2025, which was recorded at only 69 $1.8 million, significantly lower than the previous year, primarily due to weakening commodity price and increased operating cost pressure. Overall, this chart shows that while ABM revenue remains relatively strong, its net profit margin has been significantly eroded due to a combination of declining gold price and cost structure that is not reducing as rapidly as the revenue decline. And then this slide shows the development of ABM about ROA, or return on asset, and ROE, return on equity, from 2021 to 2025, indicating a downward trend in profitability performance over the past few years. Okay, the first, in terms of ROA, ROA has experienced a significantly decline from around 18% in 2021 to only around 4% in 2025. This trend indicated that company asset utilization efficiency is weakening. This decline in ROA is primarily due to several key factors, such as asset expansion, particularly investment in heavy equipment and operational assets. However, this expansion was undertaken amidst profitability pressure due to declining coal prices, as well as the weakening condition in the mining industry, which is heavily influenced by the commodity cycle. As a result, although the total asset increased, profit generated did not grow proportionally, resulting in a decline in the company asset utilization efficiency. And then the term of return on equity, ROE, also shows a sharp downward trend from over 15% in 2021 until 2022 to around 8% in 2025. This is decline in ROE reflects a declining rate of return to shareholders. Okay. Several factors explaining the decline in ROA, like the company is gradually reducing its debt, thus reducing the leverage effect that previously strengthened ROE. Conversely, the company equity has increased significantly, but from the accumulation of retained earnings and additional capital. However, at the same time, net income has actually decreased, so equity growth is not accompanied by profit growth. And then we examine the liquidity performance, capital structure, and asset efficiency of PT ABM Investama. Took three key indicators: the current ratio, debt of equity ratio, and asset turnover. Okay, first, in terms of liquidity, as reflected in the current ratio, ABMM current ratio decreased significantly from 2021 to 2023, indicating that the company used its liquidity to support expansion and operational needs, particularly during period of high activity and asset investment. However, a recovery in the current ratio was observed from 2024 until 2025, indicating management effort to maintain short-term liquidity, including through controlling current liabilities and improving cash management. Overall, the liquidity position remains under control, although relatively tighter than beginning of the period. And the second, in terms of capital structure, as reflected in debt to quality ratio, it's increased in 2022 reflecting increased debt used to use production expansion and heavy equipment investment. However, from 2023 until 2025, the debt to equity ratio shows a consistent downward trend. This indicated that the company is gradually reducing its reliance on debt and strengthening its equity structure, thus lowering financial risk. The strategy reflects a more conservative approach to capital management, especially amidst the volatility of the mining industry. And the last, operational efficiency is reflected in asset turnover. Asset turnover shows a downward trend through the analysis period. This decline indicated that asset growth was not accompanied by commensurate increase in revenue. This condition was primarily caused by asset investment made amidst weakening coal price and the post-commodity boom industry normalization, resulting in suboptimal asset productivity. This one of the main contributor to decline in ROA and ROE discussed in previous slide. Okay. ABMM is in a relatively healthy financial position in terms of liquidity and capital structure, with increasingly manageable financial risk. However, the company's main challenge going forward is to improve the efficiency of asset utilization so that existing investment can generate more optimum revenue and profit. Focusing on increased asset productivity and stabilizing operational performance is to sustainability improving financial performance. Okay. In the DuPont analysis, to determine the source of ABM return on equity or ROE during the 2021 until 2025 period by breaking ROE down into three main components: net profit margin, asset turnover, and equity multiplier. So the first in term net profit margin, ABMM profit margin is showing a downward trend from 18% until 7% in 2025. This figure is below the mining industry average for 2025, which was around 12%. This is indicated that ABMM profitability still lags behind the industry, primarily due to operational cost pressure, contract adjustment, and production transition, and then decline at several sites. And the second, in terms of asset turnover, ABMM performance is relatively stable and even slightly better than industry average. ABMM asset turnover is a range 0.5 until 0.8, while the industry average is around 0.47. This reflects that the company assets are still being used quietly efficiently to generate revenue. Although revenue growth is not aggressive, in other words, the main challenge is not asset utilization, but rather profit margin. And the third, the equity multiplier shows a downward trend from 2.9 until 2.33 in 2025. This figure is still higher than the industry average, around 1.75, but trend indicated a decline in leverage. This aligns the company more conservative debt policy, reflected in the lower debt to equity ratio compared to the industry. Combined ABM ROE experienced a significant decline from 52% in 2001 to become 8% in 2025. This ROE decline was primarily driven by a decline in net profit margin, the largest factor, and then a decrease in leverage, which limit the effect of equity leverage, despite relatively maintain asset efficiency. However, on the other hand, this more conservative financial sector offer positive trade-off. There is a lower financial risk that maintain liquidity despite a tighter current ratio compared to industry, long-term flexibility for expansion and acquisition as reflecting its future growth strategy. Overall, this DuPont analysis indicated that ABMM current ROE performance is more constrained by profitability and leverage policy rather than asset efficiency. The financial performance projection for PT ABM Investama for the period 2026 to 2030 is based on historical trend, industry condition, and the company operational and investment strategy. In general, this forecast indicated that after a period performance pressure in 2024 until 2025, ABMM is entering a phase of recovery and more stable growth. This is reflected in the increasing trend in net operating profit tax or NOPAT, free cash flow to firm, total asset, and the company equity. Regarding the main forecast assumption, revenue growth is projected at 3% per year, reflecting a relatively conservative approach. This assumption takes into account the absence of significantly short in production volume in the short term, given the closure one site and production decline at several existing sites. However, this is impact expected to be offset by preparation of two new sites in Aceh, which will begin development in late 2025, and the acquisition of the street lightning in Central Kalimantan or PJU, site PJU, which will gradually contribute to the forecast period. And then operating margin is maintained around 40%, reflecting the company focus on operational cost efficiency despite the cyclical nature of the mining industry. ABMM is projected to maintain margin through optimizing existing assets, controlling costs, and maintaining its established operational scale. And then the CapEx is assumed to be 22%, but without aggressive increase. This is because most of the fleet and heavy equipment can still be optimized from existing sites. With this strategy, the company can continue support growth without putting undue pressure on cash flow. And then working capital is assumed to be 9%, adjusting to operational need that increase revenue growth, while remaining within control limit. A terminal growth rate of 2% is used to reflect sustainability and realistic long-term growth in line with the economic and industry growth. In terms of cash flow, free cash flow show that a consistent upward trend until 2030. This indicated that the company remains capable of generating sufficient cash despite operating in volatile industry. The increase is also supported by disciplined CapEx policy and stabilizing operational performance. Overall, this projection illustrated that ABMM future strategy places greater emphasis on stabilizing production volumes, optimizing operational efficiency, selective and sustainable growth through a new site and strategic acquisition. With this approach, this forecast provides a strong foundation for valuation analysis, particularly in DCF calculation and demonstrate the company potential to create long-term value despite a challenging industry cycle. Okay, this slide shows the calculation of PT ABM Investama WACC, or weighted average cost capital, which is used as the primary discount rate and valuation analysis, particularly using the discount cash flow method. Okay, WACC reflect the weighted average cost of all company funding sources, equity and debt. In other words, WACC indicated the minimum rate of return a company must generate to meet investor and creditor expectation while creating added value. In this calculation, PT ABMM WACC was 6.23%. This figure was calculated based on the company relative balance capital structure with equity at 50% and 54% and debt at 48%. This cost of equity of 8.2% was calculated using the CAPM approach. This rate takes into account a risk-free rate of 6.8%, which represents the yield on 10 years Indonesia government bonds, and a beta of 1.15, reflecting the characteristic of mining industry, which is subject to higher volatility than the market, and the market risk premium or equity risk premium. On the other hand, the after-tax cost is the 3.9%, reflecting the efficiency of debt financing, primarily due to the tax benefit on interest expense. The final WACC of 6.23% indicated that ABMM has a relatively efficiency cost of financing. This figure not only serves as a basis assessing company validation in DCF assessing, a minimum threshold for the rate return on investment, but also as an indicator of business risks and the company capital structure. If a company is able to generate a rate of return on investment above 6.23%, then theoretically the company has great value for shareholder. In strategic context, a stable of manageable WACC provide room for PT ABM to develop new site, undertaking selective expansion, and undertake strategic acquisition, such as acquiring Street Lightning, as long as this project can generate return above WACC. Okay, next is discounted cash flow or DCF method. This method is used to estimate a company intrinsic value by discounting future cash flow to their present value using a WACC 6.23% as the discount rate. Okay, first we start with the present value free cash flow forecast. Projected for the period 2026 until 2030, based on the assumption for revenue growth, operating margin, capital expenditure, and working capital requirement. Explained is the previous slide. This represents the cash available to our funder, both shareholder and creditor. Its free cash flow is then discounted upon a discount factor of 0.941, derived from WACC of 6.23%. This process yields a total present value of free cash flow of 700 $7.955 million US dollar. This value reflects the company operational cash flow contribution over the explicit projection period. And the next is terminal value calculation. Because of the company is assumed to continue operating beyond 2030, the value after the projection period is calculating using a perpetual growth model. Terminal value is calculating based on the last year free cash flow, assuming a terminal growth rate 2%, reflecting conservative and sustainability long-term growth. This calculation with terminal value $419 million US dollar and present value $310 million US dollar discount to present value. This terminal value indicated that the majority of the company value comes from its ability to generate long-term cash flow, not just from the short-term forecast period. Okay, and then enterprise value, calculating by adding total present value of free cash flow and present value of terminal value. The resulting enterprise value of ABM is 1,017 billion US dollar. This value represents the company overall business value, regardless of whether the company is financed by debt or equity. And the next step is calculating equity value. To obtain the value due to shareholder, the company net debt 730 US dollar million is subtracted from the enterprise value. This calculation yields an equity value of 279 US dollar million. Continuing the discount cash flow calculation result on previous slide, this slide shows the final valuation result in the form of intrinsic value per share, along with a sensitivity analysis to determine how robust these valuation results are to change in the key assumption. And consider the intrinsic value per share. After the enterprise value and equity are obtained, the next step is calculate the intrinsic value of the share entitled to shareholder. This value is obtained by dividing the equity value 279 million US dollar by the number of outstanding shares of 2.75 billion. From this calculating, we obtain the intrinsic value per share is 0.10 US dollar, which is equivalent to 1.714 rupiah per share. This value represents the fair value of ABM share based on company fundamental and cash flow generation ability, not short-term market sentiment. This figure then serves as a primary comparison against the stock market price to assess whether the stock is undervalued or overvalued. Next, the annual cash flow DCF table is displayed. The table from 2026 to 2030, as well as the terminal value for the final year, which are then summed to form the total cash flow. This pattern confirms that the largest contributor value comes from long-term cash flow, especially after operational transition phase and production volume stabilization. The final section is the sensitivity analysis. Sensitivity analysis is used to test the resilience of the DCF valuation result to change in the two most critical assumptions, the WACC and the terminal growth rate. The result indicated that an increase in WACC will decrease the enterprise value and intrinsic value of the stock. Conversely, an increase in terminal growth rate will increase the company valuation. However, in the best scenario with WACC of 6.23 and terminal growth rate at 2%, the valuation result as follow: enterprise value $1.2 billion, equity value $279 million, and then intrinsic value per share it's 1.714 rupiah. They indicated that the JJF model used is conservative yet stable and not over sensitivity to small change in assumption, resulting in relatively robust valuation result. So, PD ABM Investama intrinsic value reflects solid fundamental and cash flow capacity. Performance pressure and previous period were more clinical. The company strategy, which is focused on volume stabilization, operational efficiency, new set development, and strategic acquisition, support long-term value creation. And the next, this summarizes ABM investment conclusion based on relative and fundamental valuation approach, which indicated that ABM is overall undervalued compared to its intrinsic value. First, in terms of price of earning ratio, ABM share price is $0.18 with an EPS of $0.03, resulting in price to earning of 7.70 times. This ratio reflects that the market currently value ABM at a relatively low earning multiple. Generally, price to earning at this level indicated that the market still view the company growth and profitability expectation conservatively, even though its operational performance and fundamental remain solid. And the second, in terms of EV per EBITDA, ABM has a ratio 2.45 times, which is a very low for a mining service company. This low ratio reinforces the indication that the market valuation does not fully reflect the company's ability to generate operating cash flow. With a relatively controlled cost structure and stable EBITDA, this valuation represents a substantial discount to fundamental value. And last, from price to book value perspective, the calculation show a PBF of 0.58 times, meaning ABM shares are trading below their book value with total equity $880 million. The market currently value the company less than its net asset value. This condition generally reflects cautious market sentiment, not weak balance sheet fundamentals. Overall, ABM current valuation reflects a conservative market approach, although several fundamental supporting factors are already apparent, including relatively stable cash flow, low WACC, which supports DCF-based valuation. Intrinsic value that is fundamental higher than the current market price. Going forward, there are several upside potential that could drive a re-rating of ABM stock valuation, including gradual normalization of mining sector sentiment, contribution from new sites starting to generate added revenue, and then consistent operational performance and continued cost discipline. So the company primary strategy, which is focused on internal factors that directly impact financial performance and long-term value creation. This strategy is built on three main pillars: asset and operational efficiency, strategizing cash flow and cost discipline, and optimizing value through investor communication. And first, improve asset utilization and operational efficiency. The first strategy focus on improving asset utilization and operational efficiency. The company will optimize the use of existing assets with a more selective and margin-based approach. The main step taken include selectivity, adding fleet capacity only to site the high productivity and profitability, relocating heavy equipment from low productivity site to site with better margin to maximize asset returns, and then improving digital productivity, particularly in controlling fuel consumption, reducing heavy equipment downtime, and managing cycle time more effectively in real time. Through this approach, the company target increased efficiency without aggressively expanding asset while maintaining its cost structure and cash flow. And the second, strengthen cash flow discipline and cost control. So the primary focus is on cash flow sustainability, not just volume growth. Key initiative in this area include renegotiating cost plus base contract with adjustment to market mechanism and cost structure, and then implementing more granular and real-time cost monitoring to anticipate potential cost overruns early. Strengthening key cost control, particularly for fuel, maintenance, and logistics, which is account of the largest portion of the company cost structure. This approach is expected to improve EBITDA stability and maintain positive free cash flow even when the volume growth is not aggressive. And the last, unlock value through investor communication. The third strategy focus on unlocking value by improving the quality of communication with investor and market. Currently, the company valuation still reflect a conservative market approach, so efforts are needed to clarify the company fundamental story. The strategic steps taken include strengthening the company equity story by emphasizing cash flow stability, a low WACC, and long-term perspective. Increasing transparency regarding volume and CapEx outlook so the market can see the business direction more clearly and measurably. Highlighting the contribution of new site and acquisition as a future growth engine that are not yet fully reflected in current valuation. With more consistent fundamental-based communication, it's hoped that the market will provide a valuation that better reflect the company intrinsic value. Overall, this strategy is designed to ensure that the company future growth remains disciplined, sustainable, and focused on value creation, not just scale expansion. The combination of operational efficiency, strengthened cash flow, and more effective investor communication are the main foundation for improving financial performance and unlocking the company valuation potential. Okay, that's all the presentation about the PT ABM Investama financial performance analysis. Thank you for your attention.